far. It's just phenomenal. I'll tell you about it. We did a conference in earlier this year. The ambassador came up, the ambassadors from Guinea and Sierra Leone and Liberia came. And this guy was working at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia as an IT specialist. And he said to the Jefferson people, we have to do something about Ebola in West Africa. Long story short, as they would say, Jefferson is now working to build a research center in Abidjan that will in fact work to train and to do research in West Africa. And he's here somewhere, but I want to recognize his work. The ambassador's been working with us to try to get this done. We had a delegation come, the president of Grand Basson University come 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia, so we're working with that. But my point is, not only this great young man, but more importantly, his vision, that we can do something. We got everything in America, and we don't have it. We need to take it. We need to take the intellectual capital, the equipment, and the institutions, and so he's doing that. So you can give him a big hand when I find him. He's around here somewhere. As I take my seat, I've known this young man for a while. He's been a leader here, representing the great Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. He's been in Brazil, wherever the head of state, and I should say, whatever head of state needs something, they go to my man. This is the go-to man here for Cote d'Ivoire. It's a brother who certainly has great insight on the international scene, but I want to thank you for opening the door for United Aid for Africa. I mean, he's opened his heart, this great institution here, and allowed us to be here year after year after year. Not only because it's a nice thing to do, because he's dedicated to the cause and sees the importance of education and the work that Jessica and the team we just met is doing. I say this, and as I said, I was in Brazil last week. Can you imagine that we know the key to the future is education? Imagine the black children that are not being educated on the planet. Not only here in DC, on the planet. So it's criminal for us to be working against anything other than having quality education for our children. My children, your children, our grandchildren. Because if their future is the children, we have failed them. Today, we have failed them. We know right now, even in America, by third grade, we know the children will be in a career track or going to jail. That's how advanced the science is. And we're not doing our job as people, not black people, white people, brown people, but as people. So can you imagine the work we have yet to do with UAA? So when I take my seat, what I want you to do, I know all of you belong to the NAACP, you write a check to the Red Cross. I need you to write a check for UAA. $10, $5, whatever. Don't leave here without doing something extra tonight. I'm begging you to do that, okay? It's not a lot. We need a lot of people doing a little bit. And that's what I need you all to do tonight before you leave, okay? Just that one thing. That one thing will help some children in Cote d'Ivoire and other countries get some books, some papers. They'll be able to have a pencil. Some even may even get a computer. The work that they talked about they were doing with the International Cocoa Initiative, the World Cocoa Foundation, may bring computers and other things. But you, I'm trying to charge you with the responsibility of doing something tonight. And we appreciate you all being here, and all of you are very important people. But we need you to help us. We got to show these young people that we care. That we care about what they're doing and trying to do for us to help the future of our people. If we don't do it, who will? So please, help Jessica, help these wonderful young people. Please help them get a box or something, give them a check, call them, they're doing. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much, Stanley. Okay, coming to the podium next, he is a board member. You already heard his introduction. He is the strategic officer, background in education, economics, business, public administration, 25 years of experience in consulting, project management, and senior management. Please welcome Lee Barrett.
I appreciate that. I just want to take 2 minutes to thank all of you for coming, to express my appreciation to the other board members who have accepted me graciously as a recently joined member of the board, to the staff and volunteers at United Aid for Africa who did a wonderful job in putting this all together, and to each and every one of you for coming and taking the time to care about Africa and to care about what we're doing. I think we all can believe that the 21st century will be the century of Africa, and I'm so thankful that each of you is here and interested in making that happen. Thank you again for your attendance.
Thanks so much, Lee. I also wanted to make another note, since Liseni is right there, if you see any of the artwork and you like it, you have questions about it, you want to purchase it, that's another way to support the organization versus just writing a check. You can bring something home, which is awesome. Coming back to the stage is going to be Anna Mwalago.
Africans are in the house. Can all the Africans say yeah, yeah? Come on, give me some energy. Can all the Africans say yeah, yeah, yeah? Now can all the Americans say yeah, yeah, yeah? Guess what? You Africans are the majority today. Clap for yourself. Hey! As I was telling you earlier, I am from Kenya. The day they told me that I am coming to America, I was excited. I was like, I am going to the land of milk and honey. You know, because you hear all these nice stories about America, America, the land of milk and honey. America, the land of miracles. I say, oh, God have mercy. Thank you, Jesus. I was excited. So I remember that day when I landed at the airport. Guess how I felt? I felt like the Queen of Zamunda coming to America. All of a sudden, you know, I'm seeing these big wide roads, I'm like, hey, they have some big wide roads here. You know, in Africa, those days when you want to cross the road, what do? You look left, there is no car. You look right, there is no car. Then what do? You run and cross the road. So when I was just about to do this lady told me, no, ma'am, you got to press the button. I said, what? She said, you got to press the button. I said, what? Last time she said, you have to press the button. I said, oh, the button. I press a little bit like this. I hear, you may now use the walkway. I say, America, miracle number one. Even the road is talking to me. I was excited, I tell you. When my friends took me to Popeyes, I was in heaven. I mean, you know, in my country, those days, chicken was very expensive. It's not this GMO chicken. Those days, chicken was expensive. So we only have chicken for what? Easter and what? Easter and what? Now here I come to America, chicken is pouring, chicken. Hey! Every Friday when I got paid, guess where I was? Popeyes. Up until they started calling me the number 2 ladies, because I did used to like some chicken. Then one day my American friend told me, Anna, let me take you to an American party. So I went to this party. How many people like potato salad? Let me tell you why Africans don't like potato salad. You see, no African put up their hand. When they gave me that potato salad, guess where I put it? In the microwave. They were like, I said, what's the problem? They say, oh, Anna, you know potato salad is eaten cold. I said, no. In Africa, everything we eat is what? Everything we eat is what? I didn't understand. I said, what is this America now? All of a sudden, they are showing me salad. I remember that day, I said, let me try this salad. I went to this restaurant. I said, may I have some salad? The lady asked me, would you like some dressing? I looked at myself. I looked at the lady. She said, ma'am, would you like some dressing? I looked at myself. Then I looked at the lady. Last time she said, ma'am, would you like some dressing? I said, ma'am, I'm dressed. She said, no, ma'am, I don't mean that. I mean, we have, what do they have? What else? What else? Me being the African I was, I just told the lady, give me all of them. She said, ma'am, it don't work like that. You know, you have to choose one. So I said, now America is confusing me. I remember even one of my African friends told me, Anna, when I came to America, I thought I was the most important person. I was VIP. Because even before I got ready to get to a door, the door just opened for me. I said, even me, when I came to America, the first time I went to the dollar store, I thought the gates of heaven had opened. I see everything dollar, 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 dollar. You know, I started getting excited. I buy my Colgate there. I buy my toothpaste there. I buy my milk there. Up until they told me, Anna, you cannot buy everything at dollar store. I said, why? You know? So I started getting a little bit confused. Now they are telling me I have an accent. Is having an accent a problem? Is having an accent a problem? Because if the Americans go to Africa, we'll say they have a what? And we're not going to talk to them slowly like they don't understand English. I remember one day I picked up the phone. I said, may I help you? And the lady said, can I speak to somebody who speaks English? I said, hey, as far as I know, I speak the Queen's English. What you talking about, So I started getting upset. I said, maybe I need to learn the American accent, So I bought this book called Learning the American Accent. I tried, and the only thing I got right was, what you gonna do? And even that, they told me I was wrong. So I started getting agitated. I said, you know what? I'm just going to value myself. Because I realized one thing. When you respect yourself, other people will do what? Will respect you. When you value yourself, other people will start seeing the value in you. You know, so from then on, I started cooking some ugali, some Kenyan food, some kenke. I bring them to work. They're like, hey, Anna, can you bring for me that chapati again? So I realized, you know what? All you need to do is be proud of your culture. But it took me some time because I remember one day, you know, when you are in this country and you're new, you see somebody, you see they're from Africa, you're like, hey, my brother, you look like you come from Africa. This guy told me, no, I'm from Paris. And I could tell from his face he's from Cote d'Ivoire.
It wasn't me.
Hey, it was you. So I started telling him, I said, my brother, you got to respect your, love yourself, just feel good about yourself. Just like, oh, you know what? So one day I took a taxi. This is when I got mad. I took a taxi. I told the taxi driver, can you please drop me at Connecticut Avenue? He said, my sister, oh. I said, what's the problem? He said, it's not Connecticut. I said, what is it? He said, it's Connecticut. I said, hey, as far as my English teacher told me, it's connect and cut. Put it together. Connecticut. So from that day, I went home. I say, you know, I have to tell people to value their culture. So this poem is for you to love where you come from. And it's called Bringing the Flavor. As I speak, rhymes flow into my mind, and as I blaze the stage, I hope you will relate and comprehend my linguistic phrases. As I speak your dialectic phrases and use my accentual tongue to bless thee with words of wisdom. I am a victim of discrimination. No, not because I'm black, and sure enough, I ain't white, but because I am an immigrant, an alien, a foreigner. See, I speak the same words, comprehend the same phrases, but just because my tongue rolls in a different way, that don't mean I'm dumb. And see, yes, comprehend the English. Because I probably speak and know more English than you. See, I'm tired of being labeled. People talking to me slowly, like I'm dumb, having some disability of some sort. Disability ain't nobody's choosing. But sister, brother, I am fine. 100% sane. Matter of fact, much better than you in many ways than one. I mean, if you cannot say my name right, moi, la, go, then you have no right to tell me to say water if I know it as water. I mean, what is the meaning of this conversation? And what is the purpose of communication? To drink water or to say water? So honey child, please, if you have not walked in my shoes, you have no say in my world. And don't you dare command me to walk in your shoes, because I love the smell of my feet, the feel of my shoes, and the history of my life. I mean, have you ever seen a monkey before? I mean, in real life, do you know what it does? How it jumps? Have you had the pleasure of walking bare feet, feeling the sand tickling your toes? Have you been cramped up in a bus, loaded with people, each talking their own languages, but their faces looking so similar? Have you had the pleasure of dancing to the rhythm of the drums and the music of the ululation, making you feel so exhilarated? No. Say, you cannot understand don't understand the Halloween madness. The calling before coming to visit. The biggest sale of the year. The exchange of gifts at Christmas. And the time clock moving forward and backwards. Hey. My ways are not your ways, and your ways cannot be mine. So please do not try to change me, because I have no pleasure in asking you to change, for I love you anyway. Whether Hispanic, African, American, Indian, Asian, we are all God's children. So why can't we relate? Love our difference, exterminate our ignorance that is killing us, and bring flavor into this beautiful world. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to continue by saying, please, let us not forget why we are here today, to support United Aid for Africa. And I know that you guys are going to support us, support the children, and support the women. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Anna. Coming to say a few words to the podium next is going to be the Ambassador of Côte d'Ivoire. Please give a warm welcome to Ambassador Daouda.
Thank you. Excellencies, dear colleague ambassadors, welcome. I'm really delighted to see you among us, because your presence is a testimony of your involvement, your support to AAU, and for sure, as we diplomats know, it is the sign of our, let's say, diplomatic complicity. You have come to support me, and I'm really very grateful to you for that. I wanted also to greet the presence, although he is not yet in the room, the presence and the support of my dear colleague and friend, the Ambassador of the Republic of Congo, who is the co-sponsor of this event. We know that diplomatically we have always improvised schedule, and for sure I know that it is the reason why I have not been able to be with us. And for sure I know that if he is not physically with us, I know that he is in this room in spirit with us, because we are all believers, and the spirit of our colleague and dear friend of Congo is with us while we are staging this important event at the Embassy of Côte d'Ivoire. I cannot continue without specifically mentioning the presence of our dear brothers and sisters who have taken upon their time this Friday evening that usually lead us to other places except Washington. If you have indeed accepted to be with us, it is the proof of your dedication, of your support of what our dear daughter and little sister for some of you has been organizing so rightfully for so many years and that is the reason of our presence here tonight. I cannot also continue welcoming you without recognizing among ourselves the son, or as it has been mentioned, of one very great man that history still maintain in our memories and our heart. I want to greet the presence of Dr. Garvey among us. We studied his father's name when we were still a grammar school student, and it is something that we will never forget when we know what he has done, what he has brought as a contribution to all this movement that has led to what we are today, and for sure what we will be tomorrow. Among ourselves also we have my dear brother and friend who is among us because he cannot miss being here, because for sure whenever he has asked me to come to Philadelphia, I have said yes, and I have been in Philadelphia. I even have a document recognizing me as a citizen of the city of and I'm sure that it is through his complicity that I've got that. But his presence among us is the testimony of his support of what our daughter Bintu Jessica Jomande and his foundation has been doing. Of course, Mrs. Professor Jan Tungara is more than one of ours, because I don't want to go further. She knows why I'm saying that. She is Ivorian, and she has contributed a lot in her capacity of educator. She is a professor, and we know the importance of education. Otherwise, we who come from so far, if we have not gone to school, if we have not got the chance to go to school, we will never, never, never cross the vast ocean that separates Africa from the USA, and even pretend to become ambassador of my country to the USA. This is the miracle, the magic that education can bring to each one of us. I have already mentioned my dear colleagues, ambassadors. I will mention Janine Scott. I happen to know Janine Scott in a very special way, because before coming here as ambassador in 2004, I don't want to say that 2004, which make it 10 years today, but by the time I was preparing to come here for the first time, I was occupying a position of, let's say, Secretary General at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I was invited to attend a very important event at Hotel Ivoire. When I went there, I met a lady named Janine Scott, who happened to be an American. At the time, by my position, I know that I was coming here as ambassador, but it was not yet public. And she was representing an organization in Abidjan, where she has lived for many, many, many years. When we discussed, she told me that she was just visiting Abidjan for a while, but and I was compelled to tell her that, do you know that I may be coming there? It is where and when we discover and knew each other. I hesitate sometimes because I speak French. I'm doing my best to express myself in English. So it is where I met her, and ever since, even where she was in Africa, we have continued thoroughly to work in order to tighten the relationship between Cote d'Ivoire and the USA. And ever since we have continued, I want to welcome you and thank you for all what you are doing. I cannot name individually each one of you, but I want to take a bulk of the board members. You know, I'm so moved and so impressed by the kind and the quality of job you are doing. And I cannot just come and say, okay, welcome to the Embassy of Cote d'Ivoire. The Embassy of Cote d'Ivoire is your home. You are every time always welcome here. But I have to say what I feel deserve to be said. What, from my point of view, deserve to be said is what Jessica and UAA are doing, promoting education. And promoting education is just not a word, it is a dedication. It is what she does, she and her team do every year, every day, every week, every month, tour our sons, daughters, and let's say grandson back home. They are the needies. There are those who need to be supported. There are those for whom we have to take a little bit from what we have to help them. Otherwise, even for, let's say, $5, you can change the life of someone. That's what I want to say as a testimony. And one of the great testimony of what I'm saying is this gentleman sitting right in front of me. I miss even, I don't want to say I miss crying, when I heard his story. This gentleman told me that when he was in Cote d'Ivoire, he almost never go to school. And today, I was in Atlanta when we went, yes, it was in Atlanta. We were in Philadelphia. Where were we?
It was Philadelphia, Houston, Atlanta.
Okay. And I was in Atlanta, let's say, paneling a conference. When I finished my presentation, he went on the stage, he took the floor, he made a testimony, and when he told me that he has never attended school before coming to the USA, I cannot believe it. So I want you to give a huge applause to this gentleman, Mohamed Sissé. Education is the key of everything. I remember having heard the former French president, Giscard d'Estaing, who after one of the summit, French Afrique summit, he said in the conclusion of his speech, he said, then, dear ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that the best wealth that you can wish to a friendly country, it is not a diamond, it is not oil, it is not cocoa, it is not, let's say, gold, it is not mineral, it is human resources. When you have the human resources, you can say that you have everything. That's why the human resources, the capacity building, is the one that makes the difference. And in addition, when you have the leadership, if you have a leader who has the leadership, who knows where to lead his people, it means that you have everything. And what UAA is doing is to educate the leaders of tomorrow. That's why I want to conclude by saying that when for the first and historic US-Africa Summit. His Excellency President Obama has chosen the item of investing in the next generation, which means investing in the people. We understood that he has chosen the right and appropriate term for which Africa will develop and meet its goal of bringing peace, stability, prosperity, and development to our continent that is regarded today as the next frontier. And for together, when I say together, each one of you and us, we can make of Africa the next frontier. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity, and may God bless, since we are at the Embassy of Cote d'Ivoire, may God bless Cote d'Ivoire. I thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. The next person to say a couple words and take the podium is going to be the ambassador of the Dominican Republic. Please welcome John Charles and his wife, Sylvia Charles.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think I should start almost immediately by correcting a slight error. I hail from a small island in the Caribbean called Dominica, the Commonwealth of Dominica. It is, we have absolutely nothing against Dominicans. They are actually Dominicans. But we always need to make the distinction between the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Dominican Republic. Just a little way of understanding the difference. Columbus said that he discovered the island on a Sunday, so he called it Dominica. The Dominican Republic was ordained by an order of friars called Dominicans, and as such, the first capital, Santo Domingo, was called Santo Domingo after them. Ladies and gentlemen, very briefly, I am very pleased to be here. The little island that I'm speaking about is unique in the sense that it has a small indigenous population. Dominica is the only island in the English-speaking Caribbean to retain its indigenous population. That's another history by itself. But the 19% of the country, we come from Africa. We are African stock. And whenever there is an opportunity for me to remind myself of this, I take it. So Ambassador Dauda, thank you very much for the invitation to be here tonight. I also happen to be passionate about education. There is a gentleman just 2 steps away who constantly reminds me that I had something to do with his education. I'm not too sure. But I used to be the president of the Dominica State College. I was also president of the Dominica Grammar School, which is where he attended. I say this because over time, I taught as a vocation, but over time I have become all the more passionate about this thing called education. And as such, anytime I see an entity engaged in trying to assist and empower young people to give them a fresh lease on life, I think it is actually quite something. So if your vocation, if your purpose is education, that is something else, and always respect those who opt to be educators. Let me just recognize my dear lady who came with me, and she too is an educator of sorts. But tonight belongs to the young people, and I really want to applaud the goal. I spent quite some time in Africa, and I know some of the challenges. Of course, I know the other side. What we don't always hear of is the glorious culture, is the passion with which people speak about their culture, the passion for family and the passion for community. So congratulations to the board and the members of United Aid for Africa, and all the very best to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And I would also like to acknowledge Sylvia Charles, your wife, who's also here tonight. Next, I also would like to recognize one of the sponsors for tonight's event, Eric Reed and his wife, Chris Waugh. Who is a president and founder of, I think I'm going to pronounce this wrong, is it Spag and Vola? Okay. Spag, okay. And I believe Eric's going to say a couple words.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me here. I was proud to be a sponsor for this. I'm humbled to be in the presence of so many dignitaries and to the board of UAA. I come from a very unique perspective in the business world. My wife and I were farmers. That's where we started. I have a background in IT, but we had a passion in farming. And from that, we decided to start a business being vertically integrated, because we really saw that at the farmer's level, there was really not a lot of equitable share when it comes to a finished product in the industry. So our farm is we're from the Dominican Republic. I'm originally from Panama. My wife's from the Dominican Republic. And one of the things that we hold very dear in our heart is adding farmers and giving them a greater equitable share in this industry. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some real quick statistics. So Nigeria is the 4th largest cocoa producer in the world. And being the 4th largest cocoa producer in the world, they import